What's going on, boys and girls? It's King Great, and I think it's about time we had a conversation about Destiny 2 and Bungie as a whole because I'm very concerned. And my number one question is, are we watching the slow death of Bungie? And I think that potentially we are. And the reason why I've come to that conclusion is because lately it just does not seem like Bungie is making the right decisions when it comes to its IPs and its game franchises. And we have to start with Marathon. Sorry, but it's the elephant in the room, but we have to touch on it. Now, the vibes, the media coverage, and the overall mood around Marathon has not been good, to say the least. Now, why am I saying that? Let's just start with the other elephant in the room, plagiarism. Bungie has been caught plagiarizing independent and freelance artists' art into this game without compensating them, without crediting them, and that's a huge problem. More specifically, there's an artist named Anti-Real who a lot of Bungie's and Marathon's devs, specifically devs from the art team, has been following for a number of years. And Anti-Real's original content actually ended up making it into the alpha build of the game. Now, we'll give Bungie credit. They did come out and say that they intended on making things right with Anti-Real, but I believe the way that they decided to do it was the worst thing that they could have done. Instead of canceling the stream that they had planned for Marathon, they continued on with the stream, but did not show gameplay because they were not sure if any more stolen art from other artists, including Anti-Real, were also in that version of the game. Now, instead of just being radio silent and trying to figure out what was going on with the art, with the game, and with the footage, they went ahead with the stream. And when I say the Destiny, Bungie, and social media as a whole roasted them like a pig on a rotisserie, it was bad. They were spamming art raiders and plagiarism is God. It was really just a really bad look for Marathon, for Bungie as a whole. Now we have to move on and talk about the closed alpha test. I would say that the closed alpha test was not good in the least. The viewership was down on Twitch every day. The topics coming out of the alpha was there's no addictive gameplay loop. There's a bunch of missing content, as in proxy chat, no solo queue. There's not enough PvP engagements in the matches. The art style was already polarizing. And some people did like the art style and some people didn't. But even if you did like the art style, portions of it is undeniably stolen. People were talking about how bad the runner's balance was. Like every time you ran into a team, it was a team of 3 voids. You didn't see Glitch. You didn't see Blackbird. You didn't see Locust. And I also thought it was a really bad choice to give out alpha codes and not give out 2 friend codes with those. When you're making a game that is based on communication, it's a social experience, and you are not able to play with your friends, you're not going to have that great of an experience if you aren't playing with people that you know are going to communicate with you and you want to have a good time. I thought that was a very bad choice. Just overall, the alpha test reviews mostly came out mixed, and I would say majority negative. So the drama surrounding Marathon right now is coming from social media doomsday posts, negative social media coverage, clickbaiting, and what some people would call rage baiting. But in my opinion, I think that you have the right to cover Marathon however you see fit. If it is in your opinion that the game is bad, that it needs to be delayed, that there are things that is missing, I think that you should say those things. But I also believe that if you believe that the game has potential, that the game is good, and you think that we should have a wait and see approach, that's also a reasonable thing to say. I just think sometimes we go too far with attempting to chastise one another about what we believe to be true, what we feel, and what our opinions are. There are going to be people that like this game. There are going to be people that dislike this game. I think at the end of the day, the thing that will make judgment is the day that it comes out. and or if it does not come out, and how successful it will or will not be. And as a Destiny player, I am absolutely invested in this game. And I'm sorry to say, but I am certainly concerned when I see Sony canceling Marathon's marketing budget, when I hear devs saying anonymously that the morale is at the lowest point it has ever been, and the studio is completely radio silent and have not said anything about Marathon. There are no pre-orders out for it. There has not been any update about the beta test. This is supposed to be coming later this summer. They've just pretty much been radio silent. Now, Sony invested $3.6 million into Bungie, and by extension, Destiny. They also invested in Bungie for game creation and because they're supposed to be the live service experts. But what we've seen from Bungie since Sony acquired them was the free update Into the Light, followed by Final Shape. And why that's important, can I ask anybody, do we remember how successful Final Shape was? How critically acclaimed it was? And what happened immediately after Final Shape launched? Massive layoffs, immediately followed by Sony announcing that Bungie had missed their projected revenues by 45%. Then we were given the information that we were no longer going to have 4 seasons in 1 year. We were going to be moving to the 3-episode model. And in that 3-episode model, we were also losing a reprise raid per year and a second dungeon per year. And not only were we missing significant amounts of content, but the quality of the content dropped significantly as well. I have a question. Raise your hand right now if you thought Revenant or episode Echoes was any good. I'll wait. You hear that silence? That's because no one is raising their hand. I often ask myself, what happens to Bungie and Destiny if Marathon flops or is canceled? Is there going to be more layoffs that affect Bungie? What about the marketing team or the advertisement team or the communications team or the social media team? How does this affect Destiny and its community? Does the monetization of Destiny 2 become more predatory? Do we see more Eververse items? Are more of the items for seasons locked behind the battle pass? What about our exotic missions that we've become accustomed to? Are the qualities of the raids and dungeons going to be lesser? All of these things are concerned because the problem with this is Sony's not going to continue hemorrhaging money after a $3.6 billion investment to a company that's not making a return. Or does Sony start to understand the value and the loyalty of the Destiny community in this franchise? Do they begin to reinvest in Destiny 2 and move towards the no-brainer, money-printing game that is Destiny 3? I just believe that everything hinges on the shoulders of Marathon. Marathon becomes the proof that Destiny can or cannot make Sony money and can or cannot make a banger of a game, which is a live service and a revenue generator. If Marathon fails, which I hope it does not, I believe that the death of Bungie is on our horizon. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. What do you think about this Marathon/Destiny/Bungie situation? Are you feeling more positive? Are you feeling more negative? Let me know down in the comments, please. And thank you for coming. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to King Great Gaming, and I will see you on the next one.